Say that to get these lawnmower crankshafts especially off, I file or sand all the rust off right up to against the motor, because it doesn't take much before it's too tight to remove. Then I tip it up. I can't show you if I tip it up, but then I pound on these two surfaces here where the mounting bolts go. And this one was nice and it came off, so just slide her off. I don't know why, but the camshaft came out with it there. It does have a centrifugal, it's weird, there's guns on it there. Centrifugal unloader there for there's a little bump there that opens the exhaust valve to relieve compression. Get that thing out of there. Standard type oil dipper there. The exhaust tappet fell out. I try to keep them in the same hole they come out of. Okay, well that's not good. We got our plastic gear here, and you got a steel washer on it there. You got to remember to put that washer on. It goes on the last thing. You got this plastic gear that fits into a slot in the crankshaft. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these. I can't do anything with them. But like I say, you just got to remember to put this washer back on, or the end thrust will melt right through the plastic gear. So apparently 2010 has the plastic gear on the crankshaft there with that notch style. So I'm not too impressed about that. I guess I'll get the intake tappet out of here. Keep it separate from the exhaust. I usually wipe them off and mark them with a Sharpie or something. A little bit of water in the crankcase, so next thing I'll do, I'll tear the connecting rod out of it there to have a look at it. I got the piston out of it here. Connecting rod looks good. A little bit of scoring, just very, very light, which is good, so it's quite reusable. You can see the connecting rod bolts take a 5/16 socket, so they're a very small head on them there to reduce mass and less likely for them to unscrew. Here I got the crankshaft gear cleaned up there. It's just plastic with that tab on it there. And then there's the end thrust washer, which I say you do not want to forget to put on between well, it goes on last. The gear goes on, then it goes on. So anyway, I just wanted to compare this 2010 piston to an older piston. And the first thing is, this guy's gray color. It's got, I don't know, Teflon or something on it. And the piston rings are very skinny, whereas these ones are much thicker. Easier to get off without braking, etc. And also this only has one lock, what do you call it there, spring, what have you. Piston pin can only go in one way on this, whereas this one's got one on each side. So basically nothing on them's interchangeable. This guy says mod 9.0, and it's a, well, I better not stretch the truth too much here. I honestly don't know if this rod and this rod will interchange. In order for them to do so, the height of the piston pin to the top would have to be the same, and I'm not sure if it is or not, so I won't make any comments about that, whether they would interchange or not. But here's so you got this type of bolt with the 5/16 head, and the old type was 7/16, and this guy's got little washers on it. And in the old days, they had 7/16 head, and they had this lock tab that you had to bend over. You can see that one's bent. Unfortunately, this old guy broke right in 4 pieces here, but so that's some of the changes that they made with them over the years. So anyway, I hope this shows you what a 2010 Briggs looks like in comparison to older versions, what changes have made. And I know they made changes since then too, so they just keep on making changes. Like I say, the one I'm aware of is the hollow end in the crankcase cover. I see this one's got one bolt broken off. I was going to comment about that the newer ones, the bolts come out of them easier. Some of them there in the, I don't know, the 90s, 2000 range. I break most of the bolts off in them. The old ones, they use a bolt and a nut. They don't have, the crankcase cover isn't threaded for the bolt. And, you know, they come out pretty easy. So, anyway, that's the 2010 Briggs Teardown there. I decided to investigate the connecting rod piston pin. So the piston pins are both the same diameter at 489, basically 0.489. The length of this one's 1.9 inches and this one's 1.72 inches. So if you cut basically 200 thou off the old piston pin, you could use it in the new piston. The rods, I investigated them. Of course, the piston pin size is the same. And you know what? I didn't actually measure the crankshaft, but I'm going with the assumption it's the same. The main difference I saw was, first of all, this little tab isn't on the new one. Doesn't have it. I'm not 100% convinced that's needed anyways. And the other thing they've done is, let's see if I can hold the two of them up here side by side. That'd be the best. Okay, you can see it here. This oil feed hole, they moved it down and made it smaller. Right there. See it in there. It's and I believe this one has like a hole in the slot. And I believe the reason they did that was it makes it stronger because this one here almost intersects with the threads in that bolt, so that makes it weaker. Now these things aren't really noted for blowing, although you know I have proof here that they can indeed do that. But so my guess is this rod would be interchangeable with the old 3.5/3 horse Briggs rod. Like I say, without miking the crank, I can't be sure of that, but you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do that too. Okay, so I didn't mic the crank because I couldn't get a good reading on it, but what I did do, I took the new rod and I stuck it on an old crankshaft, and as you can see, it works fine. So I would say the connecting rod that says Model 9 on it, which probably means 9 cubic inch versus Model 10 crankshaft, would work on an old 3 or 3.5 horse Briggs. That'd be my guess. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video. So everybody take care. I assembled the motor and I got a different carburetor on it, but unfortunately this one's got part of the throttle thing broke off, so it doesn't idle very good because it returns to the throttle plate instead of the stop on it, so it can get going up and down. But anyway, we'll get her started up here. That's just called an overactive governor. Yeah, when it returns to stop, it goes too far, so it basically kills the motor, and then the governor reacts to that and keeps it going. So anyways, good that it runs. So that was the first scrapyard engine I got from 2021.